Now on YouTube, it's time for some alternative commentary action with the Commenttary Hub.
There's headed by Marina, and it's 2-1 to Arsenal.
Look to that point! Goal for Manchester City!
Takes this corner, whips it in, it's headed and it's a goal, and it's that man, Gabriel.
Liverpool have equalised. Lovely improvisational touch from Curtis Jones.
Oh, what a goal! Wow, take it out!
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to delayed coverage of the TT Hub as Everton take on Aston Villa here at the new Hill Dickinson Stadium here on the docks of the River Mersey. It is absolutely jam-packed and the atmosphere is superb as the two teams take the field here at Goodison Park. It's absolutely looking jam-packed today. 60,000 here today to see this. And not a spare seat in the house. It is absolutely heaving here today, and the venue that has replaced Goodison Park for the season is absolutely superb. It's absolutely astonishing, really, when you think about it. Really, as Everton line up as follows with Jordan Pickford in goal. This is the two lineups. Jordan Pickford in goal, starting with Everton, of course. And then it's a back four of Jake O'Brien, James Tarkowski, who skippers the side. In place of Seamus Coleman, Michael Keane and James Garner. Drissa Gay and Tien Ingebruggen are the two holding midfielders, in both formerly of Aston Villa. And Dye, Dewsbury Hall and former Villa player Jack Grealish on loan to Everton from Manchester City are the three men in the attacking midfield roles, and Beto is the man up front. Substitutes: Mark Travers, Nathan Patterson, Dwight McNeil, Cherno Barry, Tyler Diblin, Seamus Coleman, Rowe and Alvarez and Azunu. For Aston Villa, it's Emi Martinez in goal for them. Back four of Cash, Konza, Tyrone Mings and Luca Dean. And then further forward, you have Bogarde and Tillemans in the two anchorman positions. Bogarde a Dutchman, Tillemans a Belgian. Then John McGinn, the Scottish international, Morgan Rogers and Emi Buendia, the Argentinian, further forward. And Ollie Watkins, who could do with a goal, as could his side, goes up front. On the bench, Bizot, Proctor, Lindelof, Harvey Elliott, Pau Torres, Malin, Jadon Sancho, Ian Matson and Ivan Gession. Aston Villa, no wins, no points. Well, 1 point. And they haven't scored a goal yet this season. As for Aston Villa, as for Everton, they made a really good start. 2 wins from their first three. A 1-0 win against Brentford and a 3-0 and a 3-2 victory at Wolves last week really put them on the road. Our referee today comes from all the way up down in Wiltshire. That's Simon Hooper from Swindon. The two assistants are A.D. Holmes and Simon Long. Andrew Kitchens, our fourth official. VAR is Alex Chilovic, if required. JB here, John Stuttard here for the Commenttary Hub, and I have to say, looking at this new stadium, it is an absolute vast arena, as I said, on the banks of the River Mersey. There's Simon Hooper from Wiltshire, the referee. In an all-yellow kit today. And let's hope we're set fair for a good atmosphere here. Both teams in traditional colours. The only difference is the shorts. Villa are playing in claret shorts and claret socks. As Everton have the white shirts and blue shorts. So it's Aston Villa in those Karen and blue to kick off. They're going to attack the goal to my right hand side, and the first touch for Emi Martinez in this opening period. Terrific atmosphere around this vast arena, which has replaced Goodison Park for this season. As I said, when I was preparing for this match this morning, As Martinez kicks the ball forward, looking towards the run of Watkins, who heads it down into the path of number 10 there. And number 10, which is Eni Buendia, but he knocks it out for an early throw. I didn't have to research too much about Aston Villa because they've not scored a goal yet this season in terms of top scorers, which will concern Unai Emery. They drew 0-0 with Newcastle in their first match, lost narrowly against Brentford, although they didn't offer too much in the way of potency, and were hopelessly outclassed 3-0 a couple of weeks ago by Crystal Palace. Highlight to which Mark Gahey scoring from just outside the penalty area, one of the goals of the weekend a couple of weeks ago. As Everton come away now with Jack Grealish, who's got a bit of a ponytail, so I've noticed, having seen the two sides. The atmosphere around here is superb. Jordan Pickford, who kept 2 clean sheets on England duty this week. One ironically at Villa Park last Saturday when they struggled to dispatch Andorra 2-0, but then went to Serbia on Tuesday night and won very handsomely 5-0. A better England performance than at Villa Park last week when they laboured to a 2-0 victory. And Villa win it back now through Cash. Morgan Rogers and Nuri Tillmans take over, and then Ndeye wins it for Everton. Gets it up to Beto, the lone striker. Beto runs at Bogarde, gets it out to the far side. Everton looking good at the start. Beto with a chance inside the 6-yard area, and it's been turned away, or he's turned it away himself. It must have come off the side of his right foot onto the other side of his left foot, and then the ball's somehow ricocheted out of play for an Aston Villa goal kick. But a good start from David Moyes' men. They look up for it. They've taken an awful lot of points since Moyes took over for his second spell to replace the Sean Dyche in January. They got more than enough points to get them away from the relegation zone last season. Now, Beto and Garner are just again. The reason why we've stopped play is, I think might be Tyrone Mings again. He's had so many injury troubles, Tyrone Mings, in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. And what Unai Emery can ill afford at this stage of proceedings is another injury. And this is slightly worrying for the Aston Villa manager, because it really does illustrate the need. He managed to, since the defeat against Palace, the next day he managed to bring in 3 new players. He managed to bring in Jadon Sancho on loan, which was a bit of a coup. He hasn't had his best time at Old Trafford. He's hoping to do the same thing as he did with Marcus Rashford last season, revitalise his career. And they brought in Lindelof on a 3 transfer, and they also brought in as well Aston Villa. They also brought in Harvey Elliott from Liverpool. So all the 3 new players are amongst the substitutes, but looks like they do have Pau Torres on the bench if needed, Aston Villa. So, but hopefully Mings is, I'm pleased to say, he's back on his feet here. Also gives me a chance just to say that even though this is a recorded TC Hub produced commentary with me, I should also tell you that I will be choosing a player of the match come the end of this afternoon's match as play gets underway. Morgan Rogers going for that one. Watkins is there in a much deeper position. Villa yet to score in any of their competitive matches this season. As I said, it's a real boost, and they start the day 19th position with just 1 point to their name. Looks like Mings may well be able to continue as we hit the 5-minute mark almost of this first half. Throw from Cash, headed away by Keane, and Villa will get another chance on the near side to launch another long throw. Possibly again, Matty Cash will have a second opportunity. Tyrone Mings now re-enters the fray. Goes shorter this time, Cash. Gets the ball back. Back to Konza. Konza now will test out Mings. Mings looks as if he's moving a little bit more freely. I'm sure to the vast relief of all Aston Villa fans out there. 5 gone. Delayed commentary on the TC Hub and Focus on Football and Storm FM. As McGinn gets it almost on halfway. Plays it back to Konza, who scored in the game on Tuesday for England against Serbia. A superbly taken goal, I must say. And Everton win the ball back. Good start, good pace to this game. As number 22 gets it now, Dewsbury Hall, new signing from Leicester. Blinds Jack Grealish, number 18 he wears on his shirt. Takes on Cash, his former teammate. The boy Aston Villa man against his old side. Grealish goes back inside. Now Tim O'Brien gets the ball back to King. King gets it over to the far side this time. And it's number 15, Jake O'Brien. O'Brien goes back once more. And still 0-0 if you've just joined us. As Garner comes charging forward now, sweeping forward for Everton. Picks out Grealish. Grealish goes inside. Good ball. On in turn it goes to Dewsbury Hall. Keeps that one nicely. And Garner again. Everton moving the ball around at will at the moment. Keane now takes possession. Tries to find O'Brien on the far side. Good football this from Everton. They're looking very good. Ndiaye now goes charging forward and he goes down. Referee Hooper says goal kick. Everton, I think, wanted a free kick, but the referee wasn't buying that. And a goal kick it is to Aston Villa, who could do with a win today to kickstart their season. 4 games in, just the 1 point from their previous 3 matches, as I said. And it's going to be a busy old September for them. They start their Europa League campaign, of course. In just over a few days' time. So it's going to be a bit of a change now. They won't be playing Saturday too often now, at least until Christmas. And Villa have got themselves into all sorts of problems. And Trezeguet shoots, deflection. He comes to Grealish against his own side. Grealish tries to chip the ball forward towards Beto on the back post, and did that going in there? The goalkeeper fished it out. And what's happened here? I don't think. Well, the goalkeeper managed now. I don't know whether that crossed the line or not. I don't think Simon Hooper has. Well, I can't tell from what's going on, but Beto's header, did this cross the line? Well, I was looking daggers at the referee here. The ball was chipped in. Was it may have been an inter offside, perhaps, as that ball was chipped in by Grealish? Well, possibly. I think he's offside there. Did the ball cross the line? Not sure for me. I think Martinez, I think had got it anyway. I think he gave an offside. But Everton so close. Beto just straight offside at the crucial moment. I think his head was offside. And under the new offside laws, you can, and it has to be any part of the anatomy that you can score from that has to be in front of the last defender. And in Beto's case, it was the head. As Tarkowski has gone down there. Free kick to Everton, fouled by Watkins. Going back to the Beto thing, so his head was offside. So in that instance, the correct call was made. And of course, we've got semi-automated offsides in the Premier League this season. As that ball is threaded through towards Beto, who took it nicely, but he took it nicely enough. But the execution and the bounce just didn't favour him. And with 9 minutes gone, Aston Villa have a goal kick. Nice idea. Gets beyond Tyrone Mings. He was slow to cotton on to that danger there, that dangerous run. Just miscontrolled it. But the idea was really, really good. The execution, not so. Garner, though, picks it up. Villa making a complete hash of things at the moment. Certainly, Everton dominating it territorially in this first 9 3/4 minutes. Foul there, so a free kick to Everton in the blue shirts. Garner, the man penalised once again. Rodgers brought him down. I have to say that looked a little bit like a shirt pull there. Villa just under a little bit of pressure here. 10 minutes gone on the TC Hub. Delayed commentary of Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 in the Premier League. From the Hill Dickinson Stadium on the banks of the River Mersey. In the heart of Liverpool. Tarkowski and Keane both up for the back. It could be Dewsbury Hall, left-footed. In it goes. Header won by Michael Keane, I think. It was Keane. But it was wide of the target. And behind for an Aston Villa goal kick. Not far away, but never troubling any Martinez in the Villa goal. This, incidentally, this fixture is the most played in English football, and it's making history today because it's the first match between these two sides at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I suppose if Everton want to get back to their former glories, they needed to try and get more needed revenue. Goodison Park, for all its grandeur and its tradition, and as much as we all love that ground, just became a little too small as regards redevelopment, and they needed a new stadium, Everton, and I think they've got just the right stadium here. It's got a unique atmosphere of its own here, the old Dickinson Stadium, and I quite like it. Here's Garner now for Everton. On in goes to Grealish on this left-hand touchline, the near side as I look. Back to Garner again, nicely touching that on. And then the ball back to Jordan Pickford, who's in this opening almost 12 minutes has been a mere spectator so far. Villa just haven't really managed to get any real territorial possession of the ball already in this opening exchanges of this game. The win probability, don't it means a lot at this stage of the game. Villa have a 34% chance of victory, Everton 38%, but the draw looks a more favourable outset, with possibly with around about 30-40%. I don't know. Anyway, the graphic went off before I could say it. Ball fluent threaded through, and Jordan Pickford's onto it like a flash. But I think at this early stage, to talk about win probabilities, I think it's just a myth. We don't, but Everton certainly have the better chance out of the two teams by about 4% of success today. Here's Grealish. He's had plenty to say on this left-hand side, and he's running into the penalty area. Good play this from Grealish. Goes back to Dewsbury Hall. This is good football this from Everton. They're looking very, very sharp at the moment. 0-0 it is. Garner doing really well. Show-stopping run by Garner. Absolutely superb. Now Keane gets the ball back to Jordan Pickford. It's 0-0 here if you've just joined us on TC Hub and all the participating channels. The ball knocked forward towards Ndiaye, and out of play goes by Luca Dean, but the expense of a throw-in to Everton. Luca Dean, of course, back at his old club, although he did play in his Everton days at Goodison Park. Everton in 5th position with 6 points in total to their name. Going really well at the start of this season. They've really upped the ante this season, Everton. They needed to under Moyes. The throw comes into the area, the Villa penalty area, headed back, and Martinez at his near post gathers it in with both hands, no trouble at all. So they were trying to get some possession going. Rodgers can't keep it up there, and it's hooked away high in the air by Jake O'Brien, and then Mings again coolly gets it out to Cash on this right-hand, Luca Dean rather, on this left-hand side. Good chest control there by Morgan Rodgers, but again Villa just giving possession straight back to Everton, who in turn give it back to Villa. Now Villa could get motoring here, but they just can't get the ball forward to Watkins, because Everton are just stifling them in that midfield area, which to them has been brilliant. Now then, Grealish against his old club, wanting to show what he's all about, and here he is going down that left-hand side once again. Uses Dewsbury Hall. Now it's back on halfway with Michael Keane over to the far side. We're coming up to the quarter of an hour mark here in this most played fixture. This is the 234th time that these sides met in all competitions. Ball knocked back across, and Bogard had to get away from his own penalty spot because the cross from Ndiaye looked a good one. It was a lovely cutback, but thankfully it was behind the attacker, which was Beto, and Bogard had the presence of mind to just 7 or 8 yards from goal, just to hook it out for a throw-in. Very good play that, but Everton looking good down the flanks. Ndiaye and Grealish especially here as the throw comes into the area. And the Villa fans behind that goal work on as Beto turns and he hit his own man. Grealish shoots and the goalkeeper somehow has made a save with his legs. And then the rebound has been knocked out by Minks for a corner. But Jack Grealish against his old club, nearly scoring against them. There is the throw. It came to Beto first, then it was blocked. Then Grealish got a deflection. And with the right foot, the goalkeeper improvised, hits Konza. And somehow Eni Martinez has saved with his right foot. And then Minks nodded it out for a corner. And Everton are looking the more likely scorers here in this game. The ball into the penalty area. Martinez only half the way, but there's a foul on the goalkeeper as he punched the ball. It's gone in the back of the net, but it's not going to count, obviously, because Simon Hooper had blown about 4 seconds before the ball was hooked into the back of the net from the edge of the area. But, yeah, Grealish had just fouled there, although I have to say Martinez made a bit of a meal of it. But I think in this day and age, I think goalkeepers do get rather maybe too much protection from all and sundry. But there you go. As the ball is not long again. Villa looking good in those Corin and blue shirts. If they come forward, they need to start looking good, because so far this first 17-18 minutes just hasn't been up to standard. And the ball to Ezri Konsa looks good. Looks very good indeed. Now McGinn chips it out nicely into the path of Matty Cash. And back comes Garner to knock it out for a corner. First of the game for Villa. They need to start motoring a little bit, Aston Villa. I think it might be a throw, actually. It is a throw. Yeah, it is a throw. It looks like a corner from the first glance. It's just about a throw in. I mean, it must have been 3 or 4 yards from the corner flag. Anyway, that's a given. Anyway, Cash to take the throw. And that's to go short to Bogada, who's... Well, that's a foul throw, I think. Yes, it's a foul throw by Matty Cash. And Unai Emery must be furious on that Aston Villa bench down below us, because, quite frankly, I don't know whether the ball just slipped out of his hands or not, but regardless, it is a foul throw under the laws of the game. And it doesn't matter how ridiculously stupid some of the rules are in the game today. If you break them, you get punished, and it's now a throw-in from the same spot to Everton. That's the reward. So Garner now takes him, shows Cash out to take a throw-in. The ball not back in there, but Villa win possession. Tielemans will get to the loose ball first. He has to dodge the referee in order to get there. He's found Mings. Now Villa get motoring. Can Luca Dean keep that in play? The answer is yes. And he's got 4 fates to find in the middle. Cross comes in. He's headed out, but only as far as Tielemans. Tielemans turns back. Finds Konza. Konza now just chips it, or just knocks it casually in there. And Morgan Rogers trying to turn. And again, Everton stifled that attack. No foul on Beto, so we play on. Villa in possession inside the Everton half on the left-hand side. Tielemans into McGinn. Into Rogers. Back to McGinn as he makes the way to the penalty area. Buendia was there as well. But good play from Drissegay, just stifling the attack there. And here's Sindai getting Everton moving on this far side. That's going to be a free kick on halfway to Everton. Foul on by Drissegay, in fact. Foul on Drissegay, in fact, by Eurotolans. They share a laugh and a joke. So the attempt so far, 5 to Everton. One of them on target. That was the Beto header. No, it wasn't the Beto header, because Martinez had saved that one and it was offside, in fact. Now then, this is Drissegay. Drissegay turning nicely. Did he go down? The referee says no. I think he might just play an advantage here, because Everton have useful possession. If they can get Grealish on the ball, they're always in with a chance of doing a bit of business. But I look at Everton and compare them from last season, and he looks so superb. And here's Beto. But again, good stifling defence from Villa. I tell you what, if Villa are going to get anything from this game, they have to up their games by some 10%, because at the moment Everton looking on top, and there's a foul there, and I think the Everton players are a bit incensed at Mr. Super Tarkowski can't believe his misfortune there. Head in his hands. I just wonder whether he's given a free kick, and he took his royal time about it, Mr. Hooper. Tarkowski having a few words to say to the referee. Was trying to explain what he's done and why he's giving it. Tarkowski considerably not impressed. Now this is what happened. It was on Morgan Rogers. Tarkowski gets the ball for me. I just wonder if it was the follow through that did for him there. Well, to be honest with you, I think if you're going to overrule tackles like that, then the game's gone for me. That's quite preposterous, really. And I don't mean that with any malice towards Morgan Rogers. He's a talented player, and I'm not sure he was trying to feign injury to buy the free kick or whatever. I'm not accusing him of that in any way, but when you see tackles like that now being outlawed by fussy referees, you just have to turn around and wonder, what's the game coming to? Because we look at that and we think, well, why was that given and why was that not given? It's absolute double-edged sword, if I'm being totally frank with you. As Seni Brandia has conceded another free kick now. And we've come up now towards the 22-minute mark. We're coming up towards the halfway mark of the first half. And Brooken gets the ball forward. Good football this. And Broom now. And as Grealish comes inside again, he looks absolutely superb, twisting and turning. And Everton really laying siege to the Villa goal here at the moment. As Grealish in fact tried to take on, was it one player too many? Yep, he gets a corner out of that. We know about Jack Grealish's his intentions. He's a really good player, and I think England could do. He's sort of a throwback to the old Maverick days of Rodney Marsh and Stan Bowles and Glenn Hoddle and all them type of things. The skillful players as the corner comes in, and it's hooked away, and then there's an almighty scramble. I think there's a foul in there and a free kick. It is to Aston Villa. Again, an almighty scramble. Another foul possibly there on Eni Martinez, perhaps. But he did get a good glove on that, and I think that must be said. But I have to say, I think on balance of play, I don't think Villa have been in this game too much. The goalkeeper has been superb, as we see an incident there with Jordan Pickford. In fact, Pickford getting that forward. And then, in fact, Buendia went for a goal and has hit it wide of the target. Jordan Pickford was really, just seeing it now on the replay, that was absolutely a real mistake there, which could have been punished, and Villa, in a roundabout sort of way, could have been ahead in this game. Nevertheless, it's 0-0 here at the Hill Dickinson between Everton and Aston Villa, the most matches in the most played match in top flight football, stretching back to the 19th century, the early days of the old football league, stretching back to 1888-89. 234 matches, the 234th clash between these two grand old clubs of English football. Villa without a point, without a goal this season, looking for their first one of the season. Cash has it now on the right hand side. Can Villa get that first goal? And that would probably brighten them up, settle them down. Morgan Rogers to a good side, Villa. And now Cash, this looks promising for Villa. But then the ball was half deflected from Cash's cross. And in actual fact, Matty Cash had just strayed offside. And the linesman Simon Long deciding that was offside. And indeed he was. He was about a leg offside. Under the new IFAB laws, that's exactly what it was. And of course we've got all the as I said, automated offsides. We haven't had VAR involved yet, although I was watching Lancashire this afternoon in the T20 Blast, and as a Lancashire fan I felt quite aggrieved with third umpire Sue Redfern for an absolute how to give Liam Livingston out when he clearly hit the ball onto his pad. Well, we thought VAR was bad. I think the review system in cricket is becoming a little bit flawed, but I'll say that in another video on my own channel. Anyway, 26 minutes gone. JB, John Stuttard for the TC Hub at Goodison Park. Delayed commentary of this Premier League game from the Hill Dickinson Stadium on the banks of the River Mersey in Liverpool. Everton have had the best of it, but Villa, to their credit, have held in there strongly. Free kick taken by Pickford from outside the area up towards Beto. Can't control it. Excuse me, and a foul there by the aforementioned Beto. And it's going to be a free kick to Aston Villa. Just fouled one of the Villa defenders. I think it was Bogarde. He fell. Yeah, Lamar Bogarde fell. It's a toe at the moment. I mean, we look at Villa and we look how good they have been in the last couple of years under Umar Emery. But this is probably the toughest spell he's had to do, and he's had to endure in the 2.5 years he's been at the club, because he took over and they were I think they were near the bottom three of the Premier League, and then you look at them and you look at it and you just think, wow, where they've gone. Champions League, robbed of replacing the Europa Conference final. They should have gone on and won that. They had a chance to win the FA Cup last season, but didn't take their chances against Crystal Palace, which had been their bogey team the last 2 or 3 seasons, of course. Even more so now under Oliver Grasner, and Palace do look a useful side, as they proved at Villa Park a week or 2 back by beating them by 3-0. When Mark Gahey scores a cracking goal against you, you know how difficult it's going to be. And just to remind you, earlier today, Arsenal winning handsomely 3-0. Zabruni and Gokares scoring the goals there. So if Ange was going to get a honeymoon period at the Emirates earlier today, well, he was in for a rude awakening. And it's certainly one of the most strangest football stories throughout the international break. Nuno Santo being sacked. I thought it was an April Fool when I found out. And you look at what he's achieved at that club, Nuno, and for him to be sacked so brutally by the chairman there is strikes me as being nonsensical. But Ange, if he had a big job before that, Ange Postecoglou, he's got a bigger job now. We've got a tough match at Burnley next week. And Burnley, of course, play Everton's neighbours Liverpool, and it's Villa win a free kick fouled by Ndiaye on Buendia. So a free kick it is to Aston Villa, who in the last sort of 4 or 5 minutes just slowly starting to come into this game a little bit more. Maybe Everton's inability to put the ball in the back of the net here could come back and haunt them. They haven't conceded a goal at the Hill Dickinson. They did win 2-0 here 3 weeks ago against Brighton. Chip forward to the far side. Here's Luca Dean, and he's challenging there with Ndiaye, and Ndiaye wins the decision over on that far side against Luca Dean. So 20, almost 30 minutes gone here at the Hill Dickinson. Goalless, but plenty for the 2 managers to ponder what might have been for Everton if Beto had just stayed a neck offside. If he'd stuck his neck back and stayed on side, he might have been in for something. Unai Emery's team now, they've been second favourites. But the Everton fans, for their part, well, I think they were Villa fans I was looking at there, but at least they're looking at it, the position with a good bit of humour, and they are a good humoured set of fans, the Villa fans, but they have been starved of success now for almost 30 years. The last trophy was the League Cup in '96. Now the referee's not happy. I think he wanted the throw-in taken from the correct position, which I think he's got every right to. It's angered Jack Grealish to such an extent that Grealish is throwing the ball off the field in frustration. Anyway, Garner takes it. Grealish is being held there by Matty Cash, it looked like to me. Look, his shirt's being pulled. He's got a fistful of shirt. The referee should be taking much stronger action than this. I have to say, Jack Grealish making that point vehemently clear to the referee. And it's fair to say he's not happy. Never mind, it's still a throw and Garner's going to take it. Tries the ball with his shirt. It's going to be tossed into the penalty area now. Delayed commentary of this Everton Villa match from the Hill Dickinson Stadium with me, JB. Flicked on! Is this going to be the first goal? No, it's not. Andy Martinez takes it gratefully. I think he might have took a boot in the chest for his troubles there from possibly Michael Keane. But anyway, Villa are on the break. Game's just starting to become a little bit open and a little bit stretched perhaps. But Everton very much winning the balls in the midfield, and they certainly won the midfield battle for me in this opening half an hour. And they're coming forward again. And here's Grealish, who's looking a threat every time he gets that ball on the left-hand side. Grealish whips his man for pace, and the cross comes in, and it's a corner off Konza for Everton. But Grealish again, really running the show on that left-hand side for Everton. Since he's come on loan to Everton from Manchester City, the former Villa youngster whips Cash per pace, hits Konza, but Everton, every time Grealish gets on that ball on the left-hand side, they look a true threat. Garner to take the corner now. Keane is up on the goalkeeper. In it goes to the area and over the top. Well, Mings was there for certain. I think he didn't. I think Keane finally got the final touch when it whizzed over the crossbar, but well, King was certainly in there and he was the first to show, but I think Mings had just done enough at that point, along with a bit of Ollie Watkins to put him off. So a goal kick to Aston Villa, who, let's face it, are living on their nerves a bit here in this first half. They've been second baiters and second favourites. And you look at Villa like, oh my goodness me, straight to Dewsbury Hall. This could be punished, but no. Villa win possession back, but they're giving it straight away. They're just giving cheap possession away every time, Villa. And you don't see that too often from an Unai Emery team. And Cashinen gives away a free kick and a bookable offence as well, says Simon Hooper. So Cash, the first name into the referee's notepad. Foul on his former teammate, Jack Grealish. We've got a fair idea for the rest of the afternoon. We're going to be saying Jack Grealish about 50 times. The man is in such a threat for his boyhood team. Grew up a Villa fan, grew up nearby Villa Park, did Jack Grealish. He's trying to haunt his former employers and the team he joined as a 9-year-old all those years ago. And Grealish and Dewsbury Hall, the two-man committee over this free kick on the left-hand side, deep inside Villa territory as the Everton fans start clapping. As the free kick comes in and it's Grealish, it's a short one and Grealish goes to the return. Cash blocks him off barely this time, ball out of play. And they are actually in the 34th minute doing a nice little tribute to Everton fan Paul Mannion, who died sadly this week, age 34, and that's why in the 34th minute they're paying a 1 minute tribute to Paul Mannion, an Evertonian who sadly died, aged just 34 years old. No age to pass away like that, and it goes without saying our thoughts and prayers with the TC Hub are with Paul Mannion's family. Right, back to the game, and it's Villa on the attack now with Any Bandia, the ball played back in there, and Rodgers was in there now. Rodgers on the edge of the box, shoots, deflected, and it should favour the goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, and it does. Well, that was a real worrying moment there for the Evertonians. Ball knocked in there, came to Buendia, the former Norwich man. Then it came to Rodgers, who can wind them up, but I think it was Tarkowski that half stopped it and allowed the goalkeeper to get The catch on it is the Beto has been tagged offside, I think, and it's going to be a free kick. Yes, indeed, quite, says the linesman. 10 minutes to half time then on the TC Hub. Delayed commentary of this Saturday afternoon game between Everton and Aston Villa in the Premier League. The oldest football fixture in the top flight to be able to be played. This is the 234th renewal of this game. Everton have won 83 in the all-time list. Villa have won 89 of them, looking to win their 90th today. And 61 draws have taken place in that time. And if it stays the same, we could be on for draw number 62. But here comes Villa now. Have they kept that in play? Yes, they have. No, they haven't. It's a goal kick. Anyone, Dia 40 kept it in. Mind you, so did I, actually. But the official didn't agree with my assessment or any Buendia's assessment. But there you go. He was more closer than me in the commentary box to judge it. It's a nice ball. It's a nice idea. There was Watkins and Rogers that made the run. Yeah, I think the linesman got it right. The hold of the ball did cross the byline. So in essence, Mr. Long, the linesman on that near side, he gets, of course, gets one shot at making the decision. Was absolutely spot on the money. So too Mr. Hooper. Well done them too. Meanwhile, Beto trying to barrel a funnel past Tyrone Mings, who will not be denied, but he's given the ball away rather cheaply to Ndai, who has it in the corner flag. Luca Dean with a fistful of shirt there. The linesman not 2 yards away must not have seen it. And he said that though, he was blindside to it. Luca Dean chips it forward, Villa in possession. And we haven't seen too many controversial things happening in this game today. Free kick to Villa to the disconsolation of the Evertonians, in particular Keenan Dewsbury Hall. He may have been in the opinion that he was being elbowed possibly there by the Villa man, but it would have been totally accidental, of course. Here's Watkins now, down the other end. McGinn. Now then, Villa have got some good opportunities here. Back to McGinn, who can strike them. Here's Cash, who can cross them. Deflected. And he paused to Cash again. Still 0-0 in this Premier League game. 38 minutes gone on all TCR platforms. Ball chipped forward again. And Garner leads it. Oh, and that proved to O'Brien rather just left it there. And in the end, as it turned out, it's probably the right thing to do in the circumstances. But my word, it was not a lot to spare. Time just run to a tee, and O'Brien leaving it sort of confused Lucadine. Anyway, goal kick. 7 attempts to 2 in Everton's favour. They've had just the one shot on goal. Attempt stats brought to you by Core Palette from Microsoft. Anyway, meanwhile in the world of the TC Hub, it's still 0-0 as JB John Stuttard brings you delayed commentary on this bright but cold Saturday afternoon. And here goes Ndai, good play away from Dean. He's got Beto in the middle. Dewsbury Hall's joining him as well. Grealish gets the ball. The cross was over it, but Grealish has kept it on the left-hand side. Grealish crosses. Takes a massive deflection, and it falls nicely for Villa to get themselves over the halfway line if they can do it. John McGinn. They've had more possession, Villa. 77 to 23% in their favour in the last 10 minutes alone. But no goals have been produced from that. You can have all the possession in the world. It's what you do with that possession that counts. Now then, can Villa find something there? Cross deflected, and deflected quite favourably there. Buendia's cross into the arms of Jordan Pickford. The cross came in from the far side as we looked, and easy there for Pickford to gather it on the edge of his own 6-yard area. As Konza gets it away. Been a good first half, just lacks a goal. We've got 5 minutes plus any additional time to go. And if the first half passes without too much incident, I can't see it being too much long in stoppage time. We did have the Tyrone Mings injury right at the beginning, but apart from that, I can't remember anything else. I can't recall anything else stoppages wise. So So maybe, just maybe, we might just get maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and that's all we'll get. Here's Rodgers. Gets a corner, and Villa needed that in more ways than one. They need to start making that possession tell. Comes up key for a corner. Villa had a slow first 20 minutes, but as the bath has continued and as it worn on, they've done okay, much better. But they've won their first corner. It's taken them 41 minutes to get it. Now then, wouldn't this just be typical in the crazy world of football if Everton was to concede from this? They do concede goals, Everton. They conceded a couple of dodgy ones at Wolves a week or two back. And if it wasn't for a dodgy refereeing decision, they may have ended up drawing the game. As it turned out, it might have ended 3-3. Mings is forward from the back. Cons is forward from the back. Gardner's in on the goalkeeper alongside Mings. Dean to take it, the former Everton man, towards the back post. Pickford was in a bit of trouble, but got something on it, and Everton clear it to halfway. As Eni Martinez now will take it 10 yards inside his own half, inside the centre circle. Knocks it towards the Everton box, but it's easily fielded by the other goalkeeper in green today, Jordan Pickford. Eni Martinez in yellow. Both goalkeepers so far with clean sheets at this stage. Trezeguet again, number 27, comes teaming forward now for Everton. Ball over halfway, and Ndiaye again making another swashbuckling run on that far side. Ball played in, and then Bogarde, oh my goodness, he's tried to clear it out for a throw-in, and what he's done, this was from the edge of his own penalty area, what he's tried to do, he's tried to knock it out for a throw-in on the far side for Everton, and what he's succeeding in doing is shinning it behind over the crossbar for a corner. Yeah, clearly shin pads that over the top for the corner. Oh dear. Anyway, it is a corner then to Everton. They're fourth for the game, and it's Keenan Dewsbury Hall, the former Leicester City player, to take it. In it goes towards the near post. Wigton, surely no! I think Tillemans and Konza was in there. Tarkowski coming at the back post. It was Tillemans who denied Tarkowski at the last. The corner was an absolute perler. And in fact, Tillemans sticks a foot out as Tarkowski prepares to whack it in as well with his own right foot. A bit fortuitous perhaps, but good enough. Garner with this other corner from the other side now. Martinez with the fist away, but he had to come through a body of players. Back out to the near side and Garner again. Chances here now for Trezeguet, who shoots, and he shoots over the top. Goal kick to Aston Villa. Had a shot just left of centre. About 30 yards from goal. Ambitious, but never troubling Eni Martinez as we go into the final minute of normal time here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Delayed commentary here on the TC Hub. On this, well, it's bright and sunny this afternoon on the banks of the River Mersey, but let me tell you, don't be deceived. It is absolutely blowing a gale out there, and it's freezing cold. In actual fact, there'll be high winds tomorrow in the UK, so my weather app tells me. So, well, let's hope Burnley-Liverpool. Let's hope the Burnley and Liverpool players tomorrow at Turf Moor, and then the Manchester United and Manchester City players in the Manchester Derby can, enough pressure to contend with all four teams tomorrow, with all the pressures and strains of getting 3 points. But then you've got the southern wind. I think it'll be a much more tougher game for Liverpool tomorrow if the wind gets up at Turf Moor than they were expected. Liverpool are expected to win that game at Burnley tomorrow. It's not a game that's going to define Burnley's season. As I thought, it's going to be 2 added minutes. That's going to be a free kick to Villa, and Inga Brookham is going to be booked for that. Simon Hooper shows the second yellow card, and that's the first Everton player in the book. So it's Tim Imrabuman who's going to be booked. I do apologise for the pronunciation. It's quite a lot to pronounce. I should explain, as Watkins was fouled by the aforementioned team in row for Bruggen. So an opportunity now for Villa to maybe have the last say in this first half. A game that they've not really dominated, certainly in the first part of the first half, but in the last sort of 23 minutes or so, I think they've just about shaded. So it's been a first half of two halves, really. Everton had the first 22 minutes, and Everton have had the last 23 minutes. Villa, rather, have had the last 23 minutes. And it looks to me as if it might be John McGibb, possibly. No, it's not. It's going to be any Brad Deer. And he hits it against the wall. I don't think it was him. I think it was Luca Dean. It took everyone by surprise, even the cameraman. Well, in any case, it hit the wall. Whoever took the free kick, we never got a chance to actually see properly who took that free kick. Anyway, Luca Dean, we know, is going to take this throw in, and it's in line almost with the 18-yard box of Everton. And in it goes to the Everton box, flicked on. Up comes the goalkeeper, he takes it no problem. And that might be the last act of the first half, which is surely going to end goalless now, bar anything here. In fact, I think another foul throw has been recorded. So another foul throw, that's two in one half. One from Cash on one side and Luca Dean on the other. And it's from exactly the same spot. Now that is an oddity, really. Two foul throw-ins from the same team, from two different players in one half. As the referee, Simon Hooper, brings this, first, a very good but very uneventful in terms of goal-scoring chances first half to a close. Goalless, but certainly bright sparks. You have to say that Jack Grealish has had the best chance of the lot. Deflected shot that Eni Martinez had to beat away with his right foot, side of his right foot. But apart from that, nothing else has been offered as an attacking sense. And in this oldest fixture in league football, played for the first time at this brand new super duper Hill Dickinson Stadium here on the banks of the River Mersey. Half time as we take a short break here on the TC Hub. It's Everton 0, Aston Villa 0. Welcome back to the Hill Dickinson Stadium on the banks of the River Mersey with JB John Stuttard in the commentary box. And Everton and Villa drawing 0-0. Aston Villa drawing 0-0 in this most played fixture in English football. And we're going to see a half-time substitution. We're going to see number 29 come on, I think, for Aston Villa. Which is Gressland. Gressland is now on, presumably for Yuri Tillemans. So we're hearing. And Villa having to make a change. They were second beaters and second best in the first part of the first half, but David Moyes' side have been were good value in the first 20 odd minutes. Should have scored through Grealish, but for a great save from Eni Martinez. So they're unchanged for the second half. Gressland now on for the start of the second half as we get underway then. Goalless here, and the other scores around the country really not much around. About 2 goals, one at Bournemouth and one at Newcastle, where the home sides are winning in both of those games. But really around the country it's been sparse of goal action. Hopefully in this game and a few others around the country today, let's hope we can get some goals. As the cross comes in from O'Brien at the start of the second half, Aston Villa attacking the left-hand side where their supporters are, and Everton attacking the goal to my right. Naomi will have had a few choice words in that dressing room, and as confirmed, Tillemans off and Gressland is on. But it's O'Brien with a throw on the near side for Everton. In it goes towards the penalty area, headed away and kept in by Aston Villa very well. And that's going to be knocked back by Drissagana Gay. And back to Jordan Pickford, who controls it midway inside the Everton half, kicks it out towards the left-hand side, headed out. And chance now for Gressland to get his first touch and show what he's all about, this young lad they got during the window. Made his debut against Newcastle, didn't do too badly. Here he is now, looks lively on the ball. First time I've seen him in Villa colours, and he looks a good player. But it's been given away now. Everton coming streaming forward with Drissagay. He's got Beto in the middle. But Drissagay just showed too much of that. But Everton get possession with Grealish. And again, good football, but 2 Villa players saw him off. And here they come now. Can they get Watkins in there? They just haven't been able to get Watkins in. Tarkowski and Keane between them have policed him magnificently. As here's O'Brien. They do look a real lively bunch, these the Everton defenders around Watkins. Peas like an honeypot spring to mind. Here's Jack Grealish for Everton. The loanee from Manchester City. Then the shot comes in, deflection, and Beto nearly got in there inside the 6-yard area. And Everton, who made a cracking start to the first half, nearly made a cracking start to the second. The ball was sort of floating from Garner from the far side. It took a deflection, and Beto, if he just got a better connection here with his right foot, that was 1-0, and Eni Martinez was not getting there. 6 yards out, Beto should be scoring. That would have been his third goal of the season. He's got 2 to his name this season. Should have been number 3. In all competitions these are. And a glorious opportunity with the scorelines that they are for Everton to go into the top 4 of the Premier League. And they know it's a great opportunity for them. Villa, they could do with 3 points themselves today to get themselves going. They would... a win would really propel Villa up the table, up to 4 points, but they'd climb a number of positions. But as it stands, there'll be still no wins from Paul, but with 2 points on the board. But here goes Watkins, great solo run from him. He's got Morgan Rogers. Can the old turn up when they need it to? For Villa, the answer is no. They just haven't been able to get in the game so far. Dewsbury Hall, good ball. Now then, Grealish against Cash for the umpteenth time. He goes past it, plays a 1-2 with Dewsbury Hall, and then Grealish, instead of... I thought he was going to have the shot, to be honest. And he tried to play in a Bruggen in behind, and in the end he got it all badly wrong. And as it turns out, It's a goal kick to Aston Villa, but it could have been so much more. I thought Grealish was going to shoot, and then he decided to make a pass to Ingebrigtsen, and he just didn't execute it good enough there. But it's certainly almost in my mind for regards to a man of the match award. We are giving out a man of the match award, even on recorded commentaries. The rule on the TC Hub is to give the man of the match award, and today will be no exception. I'm going to be covering most Saturday afternoon games for the TC Hub this season. I'm privileged to do so live and recorded. As the shot comes in, deflected, and it goes wide from Buendia. Took a wicked deflection, and it could have gone anywhere. Pickford was not to know that. He gets away, Buendia. It hits Tarkowski as he shoots here. And the deflection, it may have scraped the far post as well. I'll tell you what, Pickford was grasping at thin air. He fell onto his knees and then he dived. But even with that, he knew full well he wasn't getting there. And I think it may have shaved the post. So an Aston Villa corner when it could have been so much more for them. Buendia goes in on the goalkeeper. And, that could have been the first goal right there, right now. Cash with the corner from the near side for Villa. And it goes, flick on, and away by Garner for Everton. Villa throw midway inside the Everton half. How close was Emery's side there to going ahead in this game? No, maybe when you're down at the bottom in 19th place with only 1 point from your first 3 games, sometimes invariably, if things aren't going your way, luck invariably does not go against you, and it hits you between the eyes in the nether regions. It's still 0-0, but it should be 1-0 Villa really. Here's Luca Dean. In fact, you could say that both sides have created enough opportunities to score a goal apiece really. It's not been a bad game. For a 0-0, it's not been too bad. Everton could have scored in the first half through Grealish, and Villa really should have scored in the second through Buendia. It's a good game this, needs a goal just to liven it up. Here's Cash now for Villa, and Luca Dean too. There's his cross, the former Everton player. Good defending again, Dewsbury Hall having to touch that back. He took a risk, but the risk was worthwhile because it got the ball away, and Mings has been fouled by Beto. And a 3 kick to Aston Villa, which they take just shy of halfway, but it's inside the Everton half. So as of all the games that kicked off at 3, only Newcastle and Bournemouth are winning. The rest, as we last heard, was 0-0 draws, including the game that we're watching now. As Villa keep possession, and here's Buendia, who should have scored. Binds Dean, who binds Bogarda. Now it only goes to McGinn. Nice patient football this from Aston Villa. They're slowly away, getting back to their fluent selves of last season when I watched them about 2 or 3 times, and they impressed me in every game they played, including that never to be forgotten night at Villa Park in the European Cup when they took PSG so very close. They needed another goal, and they would have been looking at extra time in that one. That's how close it really was in the end, as it turned out. Ball knocked over the top and headed away, and here come Villa again. But at the moment, you have to say that the questions are being asked in the last sort of 5 minutes by Aston Villa. Now McGinn, poor clearance from Everton. Here comes McGinn, not forward again, but Everton win possession. And then Villa win it back in deep inside Everton territory. Villa piling on the pressure, cranking it up now. Here's Luca Dean, deflection on the cross, and Tarkowski steering it behind for a corner for Aston Villa, who are turning up the power in this last 5 minutes or so, after Everton had missed a glorious chance at the start of the second half. Luca Dean's cross, Tarkowski couldn't take no chances. Another deflection on the cross there by Jake O'Brien, which made it a little bit more difficult for Tarkowski to try and clear the ball out. And him and Pickford having a word or two now, as Matty Cash goes ambling over to take the corner from the left-hand side. Third corner for Villa. Can they make this one count? 8 corners so far in the match in all. Will we see a goal from one? Here comes the corner. And the header is away. And I think it was an Everton head. Luca Dean chips it into the 6-yard box, and well taken under no great pressure, it must be said, by the England number 1 Jordan Pickford. Not a good corner really. It wasn't well, I say not a good corner, it wasn't the most better. I've seen better corners today. As the ball is down the other end and kindly into the path of Eddie Martinez in all yellow. Jordan Pickford in all green today. But Everton have not lost a match here. They've won they won their first match against Brighton, and they won in the League Cup as well. They won very handsomely in that. So they're not playing too bad at their new ground. But can Villa come away, get their first points of the season on the travels? Bogard, nice turn away from Drissagay. That was superb acceleration, but the pass towards Luca Dean wasn't so, and it allowed Garner to get back, or Brian rather, to get back and quell the danger for now. Here's Eddie Buendia. Back to Bogarda again. Might open up on the right foot. He's pulled back now into the path of Cash. You can hit him. He scored against Everton before a few years ago, but mind you, that was at Villa Park. Cross comes in from the far side, but it's easy for Pickford. And with 10 minutes of the second half played on the TC Hub, delayed commentary of this Aston Villa, Everton Aston Villa game. It's still 0-0 as we now come to the final 35 minutes. Still a lot of football still to be played, you fail, and there's still maybe a few big gilt-edged chances on the way. Tarkowski now for Everton. Gets it out to O'Brien. Gets it down the line. That's a foul surely on Ndai by Luca Dean, and surely the former Evertonian is going to get a yellow card for that. He has to. That was a little bit silly, and I think he knew it. I think he knew it. He's certainly tugging the shirt. And Luca Dean is the recipient of the first booking of the match. I don't think there was ever any doubt at all about that. It was certainly a foul. Brighton have scored against Bournemouth, so it's 1-1 in that game. So that's the scores this Saturday afternoon. The rest of the games are still 1-0 to Newcastle, and the rest, including this one, we're still amazingly goalless. Free kick then to be taken by Dewsbury Hall, and it's knocked away. Villa now trying to get possession, but here's Dewsbury Hall now for Everton. Ball forward, Beto now towards the right of the penalty area. Couldn't get his shot away, tried to cut back inside, and Villa had too many bodies back to be fooled by that. It was absolutely ridiculous, really, that Beto should have pulled the trigger, I think, when he did. Timed his run to an absolute tee, no doubt about the offside. No, I think he tried to do too much. Maybe the shorter pass back to Dewsbury Hall, I think if he had his time again, might have been a better option. Dewsbury Hall again, 57 gone at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Ball back to the goalkeeper once more. Tarkowski in now. Gets it forward. Now O'Brien, he says to O'Brien, chase that, but the ball beats him out of play, and it will be a throw. Been a good watch. For 0-0, it's been okay. It's been all right. It's been a good game of football. Just needs a goal to take it to that next level. And Bogard steps away from two opponents well, but Dewsbury Hall fouled him and ran away with the ball. In fact, it was Grealish who actually did the fouling. And Dewsbury Hall ran away with the ball, but the referee had blown for a Villa free kick. Owen Irvine, and a former Evertonian as well, former player, and David Moyes. But here's a chance now for Villa at the other end. Black stays down, ball back across, Buendia on the volley, and that would have been a picture goal if he connected well with that. But Everton had the wherewithal to get bodies in the way. Foul by Mings and a free kick to Everton. As we approach almost an hour played on this delayed commentary on the TC Hub and all platforms. It's just not for the one to try that we haven't had a goal yet. And this Buendia effort, good block actually by Brooken. It was a very good block by the former Villa man. And, well, that doesn't look to foul there by Gisland. But nothing given. Looked a clear push there and Garner. I must say, now Beto, is he onside this time? He's kept the ball in play to his credit, and it's a Villa throw, however. Couldn't stop it going out for a throw-in. He's a tireless worker, Beto, but he's had a couple of good opportunities today, but when he's been presented with the opportunities, he just hasn't finished. Which has been of real frustration for Evertonians everywhere. Nice bit of ball control by Unai Emery, although the ball came at him at a rapid rate. 60 minutes gone, half an hour to play of normal time. Of course, any additional time that fourth official Andy Kitchen will want to add on at the end. Here's the Drissagay, still 0-0. But this is not a game for the one to try. And here's Jack Grealish, who's excited me every time he's gone on the ball. His skill and his work rate. He's been a bit more quieter in the second half for obvious reasons, because Villa obviously have had more possession, certainly in this opening quarter of the second half. And here's Grealish again, as he takes on Cash for the 43rd time this afternoon. Cash again tugging away at his shirt. This is somewhere, I think this is something that Simon Hooper, I think, needs to start looking at a bit more. I feel certainly cotton onto it, because at the moment Jack Grealish will start moaning again. Why am I not getting protection? Why am I not getting free kicks when the shirt's been clearly pulled? And of course VAR can't get involved in that sort of thing. Now then, Shrewsbury Hall's cross, the goalkeeper lost it and then got it again, and then O'Brien shoots, and then the ball was ploughed away, and then Brooken with a shot, and it gets a deflection, and it's an Everton corner, and there are two Villa players injured. One is the goalkeeper Martinez, and the other looks like Luca Dean. So the Villa Visio staff are going to be on red alert and very busy for the next 2 minutes. The goalkeeper didn't cover himself in glory. There was a bunch of cluster of players that fell into each other, and in the end, Rowan Brooken's shot goes well away, but Shrewsbury Hall got it behind. The goalkeeper stretched, and in fact, Luca Dean was the other player injured as well, as I suspected it was, as we see that incident again. Martinez is okay. Had to stretch to try and get something on the ball, Martinez. I don't think you could blame the goalkeeper. He had to try and get something on it. And Luca Dean looks very seriously hurt. Looks like a head injury, looks like a head job. And of course they have to stop it because it's a concussion injury, although the ball had gone out of play anyway for a corner. This is the incident again. The goalkeeper half parries it. Then I think he bumps into Luca Dean, who falls on top of him. Let's see if we can clear this up from behind the goal. I'm just looking at it now. Martinez goes after the second ball, collides with Mings, then Luca Dean gets involved and must have collided with his goalkeeper at that point. No Everton player can be blamed in all that, even though there was one there, but I think it was a collision between three Villa players, the goalkeeper and two defenders. One of them was Mings, who's okay, and the other, of course, is Dean, who, by the way, is just getting back up on his feet. And he may well have to go off the field because, obviously, because it's an head injury and they were looking at the eyes, they'll have to take off the field under the protocol. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not altogether surprised. Luca Dean is desperate to get back on the field of play. He's splashing himself with water, taking water on board. The medical staff are just making sure he's okay. Everton are waiting to take the corner. Garner's waiting to take it on the far side. There might be a little bump on his head there. I just noticed as the camera cut to his face. But Villa playing with 10 men for the moment anyway, as Garner swings this corner in from the far side. Up goes Tarkowski with a header. Not a very good one. Lacked a bit of direction, but still Everton try to keep the situation alive. It's a goal kick to Villa, and Luca Dean surely now will rejoin the action. Not yet, says Mr. Hooper. You're not coming on just yet, pal. That's what he's saying. Everton are about to make their first substitution of the afternoon. And it's Roll who's going to come on, number 34. David Moyes just telling him what he wants to do. As the ball is not forward, and it looks as if Villa now just having a shaky period. Deeney's back on the field and he has a touch, but he's giving it away now. Oh, Rodgers couldn't play it into the path of Watkins. And in fact, Grealish has got himself a yellow card. Must have been a foul as the ball was played, and I think the referee knew when there was no advantage to be taken. Gave the yellow card instantly. Let's have a look again on the replay. Well, Dewsbury Hall goes in there. That's what the free kick's for. And then Jack Grealish obviously has spoken out of turn. Or is it Dewsbury Hall? Dewsbury Hall's been booked, not Jack Grealish. Let's clear that one up. I thought he was showing the yellow card to Jack Grealish actually, because I actually thought he had done that. Anyway, with 65 gone, and a half minutes that is, Brookham comes off, and Roll, another midfielder, comes on. Still 0-0 as we come up towards the halfway mark of the second half here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Nice vast arena with over 50,000 here. Gives it a little bit more of a louder feel, but Goodison Park, even with 38,000 reduced capacity still on its night, could still, as we saw in that Merseyside derby earlier on in the year, could really still give it some welly. At least they're preserving Goodison Park now. The women's team are going to be playing in it this weekend in the WSL, and so at least the grand old lady, Dear Stanley Park, is going to still be seeing football, just as the female variety this season. Meanwhile, as I talk to you, Aston Villa are about to make their second substitution. They can use up to 5, remember, and during this second half, and Villa are going to freshen things up as well. They've got all the newbies, Aston Villa, on the bench if they need to bring them on. Jadon Sancho and RB Elliott as well, as we go into the 67th minute here on the TC Hub of this delayed commentary between Everton and Aston Villa. Still goalless, but I still think there's going to be chances in this game, and I think there will be a goal. I still believe there will be a goal. Might be only one in it maybe by the end, who knows. Here's Ndai. He's been a bit more quieter, like Grealish, in this second half. And he goes down. The referee's not going to be forward, I don't think, Simon Hooper. He's not going to fall for free accurates like that for Ndai. Not a jot. Not a jot. Still 0-0. Everton in possession with Grealish. And Garner is on the overlap. Grealish running at Cash for the umpteenth time. Tries to find Dewsbury Hall for the umpteenth time. Couldn't be found. And now here come Villa. Buendia again. Watkins just not on the wavelength. He's having to come from a deeper position because he feels so isolated up there. Maybe if they could get another attacking player on, possibly Sancho, maybe give him a little bit more support. That might help Villa in the long run, because Watkins really hasn't had a kick this afternoon. Here's Grealish, who's had plenty of kicks himself, and he goes down, and the referee's not going to be fooled. In fact, he's given it for simulation, and then he's pushed down one of the Villa players. Yellow card, and I'm not surprised. Grealish has been absolutely on the boil. He's been boiling up. His temper has been on boiling point for the last sort of 10 minutes. I have to say, though, it looked a foul, and Grealish, for his reaction, I'm not sure what the yellow card was for, possibly for the dive, or what the referee thought it was a dive. I have to say it did look a foul, but The referee didn't read it that way. So whether it was for the foul or for the fact that he pushed over Bulgada, a yellow card has been received by Mr. Hooper in favour of Jack Grealish. Not letting his previous Villa connections get to him too much. Only concentrating on his current club, Everton. And Day, good tackle that by Buendia. Well, at least I thought it was a good tackle. The referee, and now Buendia and O'Brien are having a set to. And the game is slowly away, beginning to boil over. Although it ends with all smiles, I hope. Buendia is furious. I thought down below, I saw the incident from where I was sitting in the ground, and I thought Buendia had clearly got the ball. The referee didn't agree with my assessment and has booked Buendia for a challenge from behind. Now, what was all this about? Well, I think he gets the ball. I think that's a very good tackle, and in Dye's Beatrix has got Buendia booked. I mean, that is not a bad tackle. He gets the ball first, he's none of the man. Yes, it's a bit of a scissors reaction, but he got the ball. Buendia's making that point, and Buendia, who's absolutely furious with him, he's absolutely furious. He's now been taken off precautionary measure really by Unai Emery, and Harvey Elliott, who signed on loan from Liverpool, will come on now. He has an opportunity now this season to prove his worth. They do have an obligation to buy him should he be a success. If he plays in set amount of games and he's successful, one of the transfer deadline signings is on. But here comes Dewsbury Hall with the ball into the penalty area. And it's going to go to Grealish. He's now got to watch his step. He can't afford to make any more mistakes. Grealish inside the penalty area. Has to use Garner. And then he goes down. No foul. The referee's not being fooled. As Gressland squares up to Grealish. He's on the ball. Gets the cross in. Header wide and a great save from King with the header by Eddie Martinez. The save of the match. If the first one in the first half for Grealish was a perler, this was even better. Grealish does well. Kane's back header, and the goalkeeper with reactions that are razor sharp. A big left hand turning over the crossbar. The best chance of the match, thus by a mile. And Eddie Martinez showing why he's international class. And here goes Sendai now for Everton. Corner kick. Now the game's beginning to boil. Now it's simmering. It's rising to the surface. It's not a corner. Everton think it should be. And the referee here is having a dicey few minutes. The match is starting to come to the boil. Now, was this a corner kick? Hard to tell from the first angle. We need to get a closer angle. Let's have a look now. No, it comes off in Dye. I think the referee got it spot on. 72 minutes gone, still no goals, but there's been incident and a flurry of yellow cards and a few flashpoints. So it's not been for a 0-0, it's been quite a lively game that you can be rest assured about. But to be quite honest, I think it's been a very, very good game. Anyway, a throw-in to Everton here at the Hill Dickinson. Well, no, it's been very good. Barry is going to come on now for Everton, number 11. One of the young lads that have come through the academy there. They've certainly got some good players coming through the academy, Everton. They are certainly a very, very good side that do carry a lot of threats. And absolutely, and it's going to be a corner kick or throw in. As Barry prepares to come on. As the throw goes in. He's out for another throw, but well. Well, Everton are going to take off Beto. Barry's a striker by trade. Apologies for the pause there. There's not a lot happening. You've not missed anything really, but well, Eni Martinez, the save of the match, that for me. That looked in all the way from Keane. And Martinez got a big left hand and flicked it over the crossbar. It was superbly done. That's how to play from Morgan Rogers, I think. Although he wants a free kick now, and temper's just starting to get a bit frayed here. And it's getting to the two managers as well. Unai Emery having a few words to say to Andy Kitchen, the fourth official. And there's a little needle in this game now. But we need to see a goal. One goal will do it now. I think we're in that last 15 minutes zone where one goal from either side will tip the balance one way or the other. Free kick to Villa, fouled by Trezeguet. Taken by Mings in his own half. It's been a very, very, not bitty, but very incident-packed game, which just lacked one thing, a goal. Everything else we've had. Cash out to the far side, and Gressland back to Cash again. Gressland still wanted on the other. Goes in field to McGinn. He's on halfway now. Uses Mings. We've had 7 attempts in all. 4 for Everton, 3 for Villa. In all, Everton have had more opportunities than Villa have had. But still, I think even Stevens. But I think half the chances have been more chances that have been hit wayward and off target. Villa have scraped the post. Eni Martinez has made 2 world-class saves from Grealish and Keane. And yet we're still at goal, still at 0-0 here. Pickford made a mistake which Buendia couldn't profit from in the first half when he made a hatchet coming out of his area and got the clearance all wrong. But Buendia just wasn't accurate enough to knock the ball into an unguarded net. But it's still 0-0, but I tell you what, it's not for the run to train. Here come Villa again. They're looking for this winning goal. Conte, the away side, looking to get their first win of the season. 1 draw and 2 defeats from their first 3 games for a Villa side that have done well in the last couple of seasons. If you're an Aston Villa fan, you'd say it wasn't been good enough. Here's Luca Dean now. Can Villa nick a goal on the breakaway? Cross comes in, it's tucked away by an Everton defender, which was Jake O'Brien. 77 minutes played. Everton 0, Aston Villa 0. On the TC Hub and all platforms, we're on Focus on Football and we're also on Storm FM. Bings for Villa. Konza for Villa on halfway. Gets it to Cash. Maybe they might bring on Ian Matson, maybe show a little bit. That's Elliott now back on his old city. Gets Gressland in, but the ball beat him out of play, I fancy, and it will be a goal kick to Everton. There's Harvey Elliott, getting a few boos from the Evertonians, not surprisingly, because he, of course, is a loanee for Villa, on loan from Liverpool. Don't say it too loud in this stadium. We're now 52,414. I make that attendance. And a brilliant turnout, but no goals for them to look at today. Well, so far at least. There's still 12 minutes for that to possibly change. It's Bocado now, for a moment, got into a shooting position. And here's Harvey Elliott. Oh, he was fouled there. Fouled by Ndai. Free kick to Villa. And again, I thought there was going to be another flashpoint, but the referee was quickly in there to sort it out. Well, It's not been one for the purists, I must admit, but one moment of genius from Luca Dean against his old side could tip the balance in Villa's favour. It's not been a classic Villa performance by any means. Mings is forward. Ezra Konsa, who scored against Serbia for England in the week, is also forward. Could one of those two get Villa's first goal of the season? Let's see. Here comes the free kick into the danger zone, but it's well held by Pickford under great pressure. I think Mings was flying in like a rocket, but despite all that pressure, Pickford had taken the ball. And Ollie Watkins, in fact, it was Ollie Watkins, in fact, who went in like a rocket, not Tyrone Mings. So we're inside the final 10.5 minutes of the game, but I should stress that's normal time. There might be 2 or 3 minutes extra at the end, maybe possibly a bit more than that. But to be quite honest with you, apart from the injury to Luca Dean, I can't recall any massive stoppages. O'Brien going forward. Finds in day. Has to go backwards though to come forwards. And here's Tarkowski from halfway. Still inside the Villa half on the right hand side. And Everton get the throw. And Tarkowski is going to take it this time. Still Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 in the Premier League for Saturday afternoon. Delayed commentary of this game on the TC Hub Storm FM for a Saturday afternoon, delayed, but coming to you as live. Ball knocked forward over the top, and Barry trying to get on the end of that, and couldn't be found. Play on, and here's a chance now. Good control there, Barry inside the box. There is a chance here now, Dewsbury Hall. Now back towards the right hand side, now Grealish on the left, takes the ball, long ball from O'Brien in there, gets his cross in, but Villa hounded him out. Here's RV Elliott taking over Marcus Rashford's old shirt number. Marcus Rashford last season playing in the number 9. His clearance didn't go far though. Everton are coming back with 81 minutes gone here at the Hill Dickinson. And here goes Mr. Grealish again, trying to torment his former players. Still Jack Grealish, gets to the byline, goal kick given. Grealish has just got to shut up and just watch his mouth here because he's on a yellow card, let's not forget. And the last thing they want to see happen is get him sent off. We're going to see 2 more substitutions. Number 17 is about to come on for, it's going to be Marlon for Watkins. And we're also going to see another substitution as well. So Lindelof, the former Manchester United player, is going to come on as well. And it looks like Ezra Konsa. Is it? No, it's Borgada who's going off. Victor Lindelof, the former Manchester United defender, comes on. 82 gone. Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 here on the banks of the River Mersey. And what a magnificent setting this ground really is. And I have to say, I had my great doubts about Everton moving away from Goodison Park. I tell you what, having been in this ground today, the atmosphere has been absolutely fantastic. Kudos to Everton for making this ground happen and for keeping Goodison Park as well, keeping their legacy very much going. As we now go into the closing stages of what has been a very well competitive game, a very good competitive game, which has just lacked a goal or two, and that's going to be a foul there. Raul, the man, bringing Konsa down. I think Konsa just feeling it a little bit there, the Villa defender. And Simon Hooper's had a lot to do. Come up all the way up from Swindon in Wiltshire. I have to say he hasn't been fooled by some of the theatrics that have gone on. Some he's got right, some he's got wrong. But as the old phrase goes, he gets one shot at it. And he's done okay today, the referee. And we haven't had too much from Stockley Park, from Alex Chilovic. I've not had to mention his name once after 83 minutes, which in a lot of cases, makes quite a refreshing change. And I'm still 2 or 3 of the matches still goalless. There's still goalless at Fulham, there's still goalless at Palace, and there's still goalless here. We've had 3 goals at Bournemouth, 2-1 ahead. Bournemouth are against Brighton, and Newcastle leading by a solitary goal to 0 against Wolves. But with the results the way they are at the moment, one of these 2 teams, it could be the shot in the arm they need to get 3 here today to really kickstart, well, in Villa's case, to kickstart their season, but Everton to keep their decent start of the season going. Fouled by Ashikash, and a free kick to Everton on the far side. It's been a tough old game today. That you cannot be questioned. Roll now from about 35 yards, tries the spectacular, but gets it all wrong. Goal kick. Right-footed strike, but well over the top. In fact, I think it went wide, high wide, and not Southampton. David Moyes willing his team on. Just under 5 minutes to play, plus stoppage time. And we're into that time now where Sir Alex Ferguson would call squeaky bum time now. Still 0-0 here at this new vast and full Hill Dickinson Stadium, beautifully constructed stadium. Lovely to be here. It's not been lovely that we haven't seen a goal, but we've seen a decent game of competitive football played in the main in a good spirit, but there has been a few flashpoints. But this game, well, there's been plenty of attempts. We're 0-0, we've had about, something like 20 attempts, but no goals to show for it. It's been an entertaining game anyway. But we need a goal. We've only got just under 4 minutes. We've got less than 5 minutes now to find one. Here's Mings for Villa. Can they nick it right at the end? Here's Luca Dean, who, like Grealish, wants to haunt his Bournemouth employers. It's been a good watch. We're not going to get goals all the time in all the games we cover on the TCO, but let me grant you that. But what I will say is, for a 0-0, it's been played in a very competitive spirit. And that's what we at least want to see in the game today. Both teams trying to win the game of football, regardless of the scoreline. And passions running high, which is okay as well, because we need to see emotion in the game. Give that another 10 years and the football authorities will try and wash all the emotion away. Let's hope they don't. Here's Morgan Rogers. Oh, he can't lay Marlon in. Very disappointing that Morgan Rogers, a very good player, came to prominence, had a good season last year, but just hasn't been able this season so far to find that killer pass that got him so many rave reviews last season. As a Villa fan, I see there with a head in his hands. And 2 points from the first 4 games with Aston Villa, a team that have done so well in the last couple of seasons, is simply not good enough. I think Unai Emery knows that. No foul there, and we play on with John McGinn. And now Villa have to make this count. Can they? Lindelof gets it forward. Villa have got plenty queuing in the middle. Marlon is in there. So too is Gersland. But again, they're having to come backwards to go forwards. Konza now for Villa. Can they find a breakthrough here? One goal will do it for either side. At the moment, it looks like we're going to have a 60-second draw in this massive series. This is the 234th meeting between these sides. In all competitions, stretching back to the first days of the Football League, way back in 1888. And now there's a chance now for Barry to go on his back. It's Barry against the last defender. Deflection! And into the side netting on the far post. I think Mings may have got back and deflected it into that far side netting, actually. And if he did, that was a good bit of defending. And it was really poor from Konza. Gave the ball away, showed too much of it. As the corner now is taking it, it's Grealish. And it's back to Grimsby Hall, who strikes it. Now Keane. Now O'Brien off the defender, and it's a corner. It came off the striker, Marlon. Marlon, it came off. We're inside the last 90 seconds of normal time. Everton fans think they can nick it. If they win, They've got 9 points out of the first 12 available, if they can get it. For Everton, that's a very good start to a season. Can they produce some limbs at the end? We're inside almost the last minute. We're inside that last minute now. We're into the 90th minute of the contest. Everton have a corner. Can they nick it at the death? Villa have got plenty of men forward. Tarkowski's well into Martinez. He's trying to block his run off. Here comes the corner from the near side. Martinez got enough on it, but still not away. Here's Jack Grealish. Pull back. Shot comes in. Deflected and over the top for a corner from Ghana. And Everton finishing the match the strongest. And it was McGinn it hit. And Martinez was stranded. If that was going on target, the goalkeeper was absolutely stranded by a mile. Corner taken again to Grealish. Here he goes again. Are Villa going to sink without trace? Here goes Grealish. Oh my goodness, he got it back. Ndiaye now. Edge of the area. Ndiaye shoots, deflected. And it was well charged away. We've played the 90 minutes. And now we're into stoppage time. We don't know how long that's going to be. Andrew Kitchen needs to get that board up as soon as possible. We're now 5 added minutes, so we've another 5 minutes of this to go. And the key, ball in the key with a header, which goes wide. He needed possibly, I don't think it was good contact when he went in to go for the header. It was a good effort from Keane to even try and get something on it, but he needed better contact with the head on the ball. And if he had just got a percentage more with his head, I think Everton would have won it. 6 yards out, Grealish's cross begging to be headed, and maybe there was a better option behind him. Maybe. But Keane felt he could throw his head in the way and just win the game for Everton. They're looking the more likely winners if there is to be one. We've had a minute of the 5. I think Villa will be, considering where they are now, I think they're going to be contented with a 0-0 at this stage, but it would mean that they haven't scored for 4 consecutive games. And that'll be quite a worry to their supporters. The only positive they could take out of this Villa was if they were to hold on for a point, is that point. But apart from that, really, I don't think they could take too many positives out of it. But they might still win it themselves. They've still got enough players on the field. Harvey Elliott looks sharp. Now again, Luca Dean. They've got 3 in the area, but Dean has to go backwards. Uses McGinn. Back to Dean again. Back to McGinn. And Dean in behind the defender O'Brien. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he can. Gesson is there on the far side. Gesson trying to turn away. That comes off Gesson last, I think. That's a goal kick. Well, it's been a good watch. Look at that. 19 attempts in all. So we've had something like 25 attempts in the game, but only 3 of them have been on target. But it's not for the want of trying. But the shooting from both sides, clearly over the 90 minutes, and the 92 and a bit minutes we've been playing, has quite clearly not been good enough. We've got a player down injured. That's Morgan Rogers. As we come to the end of the game, it's been a battle out there. That is for sure. We've had 2 of the 5 almost played. In fact, we've had 3 of the 5 almost played. And Everton coming again with Dewsbury Hall, far side. The cross is a good one, but not enough Evertonians in the penalty area, not enough blue shirts in the area. 2 minutes to play of stoppage time. I should stress it's a minimum of here. I need to choose a player of the match when this attack breaks down. And here goes O'Brien. This is a good cross. There's the header one, and away goes Luca Dean. Well, it's going to be hard to choose a player of the match of this magnitude as Everton keep up the attack, but it's knocked away, and here comes Tarkowski. Well, choose the player of the match because Everton are still attacking, so we've got to stay with the attack. And here goes Grealish, who's one of the candidates surely for man in the match, and that hits the defender and then comes off Grealish's head and behind for the goalkeeper, but it won't be Jack Grealish that will win the Player of the Match award. I'm going to give it for 2 outstanding saves in the game to Eddie Martinez of Aston Villa. The first save from Grealish was a superb one with the right foot via deflection. The second one from Keane, a bullet header, big right hand, and Eddie Martinez of Aston Villa, their goalkeeper, will win the Player of the Match. Unai Emery still frustrated. His team can't buy a goal, but they may well take a point away. Everton, if they draw, will go to 7 points, and that's not a bad start after 4 games. Foul there and a free kick. The Evertonians not happy that Barry had fouled, or was adjudged to have been fouled. 30 seconds of the 5 to go, and I think this game is going to peter out into a 0-0 draw. But it's not been a bad match. Normally, if you're tuning into a game and you see 0-0 written on the screen, you think it's a dull match. It's not been dull. It's been exciting. It's been entertaining at times. Grealish has looked lively on the ball. The goalkeeper for Villa, Martinez, has put off 2 excellent saves. There's been plenty of excitement to enjoy, but we just haven't had a goal. Offside, and that might just be that. The clearance from Pickford, and I think that will be the end of the match. Well, Pickford with the free kick then. Referee playing on. He's played over 20 seconds over the 5, and we still play on. Simon Hooper has checked his watch once. That's a foul and roll, and a free kick to Everton. We play on here. We've played over 30 seconds over the 5, and it looks like it's going to be Jordan Pickford now. 1 goal now will win it. Jordan Pickford with the free kick on halfway. It's going to be tossed high into the penalty area. Both managers now looking for something now. They're both on for a point each. Will it be 3-5 away? It's knocked away by Villa, and there goes the end of the game. The final whistle from Simon Hooper, our referee, and it ends a draw. A goalless draw, but an entertaining goalless draw. Michael Keane had the best chance of the second half. Well saved by our man of the match, Eddie Martinez. He made 2 outstanding saves, 1 in each half, and that in a way I think sums up why I picked him as man of the match. Goalkeepers and defenders certainly on top, but as an entertainment spectacle, it wasn't one of those dull 0-0s. It was a good 0-0 draw, and very entertaining. Was exciting at times. Lovely skills from the likes of Grealish. Brilliant goalkeeping, certainly from Eddie Martinez. We had some flashpoints, but it's all smiles at the end. Villa pick up their second point, but what will be alarming for Villa fans is they've still yet to score in their first 4 games, and they haven't scored yet in their first 4 games. But they showed a defensive draw. They hung in there, and maybe that point will give them confidence. And maybe when the European campaign starts later on in the month, maybe that will kickstart their season. But plenty of positives for both teams to take out. Everton, 7 points from their first 4 games. I think they would have took that at the start. Villa, still a lot of work to do. Pick up their second point of the season. But again, it's no goals for them, but 2 clean sheets. But still plenty of work to do. Villa, in fact, stay in the bottom 3. But a good entertaining game of football. Not a bad game. Not a bad spectacle, really, on the face of the value, on face value. But unfortunately, in terms of goals, we've been very sparsely spoilt today. The final score then, as I leave you here from the Hill Dickinson Stadium on the TC Hub, is finished Everton 0, Aston Villa 0, and from me, JB, John Stuttard, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you very soon for another TC Hub game. Until then, take care, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.